Dr. Saintels was born to an Orthodox Jewish parents, who lived alongside of death during Hitler's era, 1939. He had never met his father. Fortunately, he had a few Nordic Aryan features, like dolichocephalic skull and light eyes. This way she secretly sent him to an orphanage at the age of 2 which had Aryan orphans. Eventually, within a couple of years, he was adopted by a rich German couple. Growing up, he got the best out of all, because of his parents. His parents were very transparent. They told him that he was adopted. He wanted to find his biological parents, but he was never successful in doing so. The officials in the orphanage did not know who his parents were either. He grew up hating the undesirables, the Polish and Jews. He was never allowed to sit near the Jewish children. In 1940, when the undesirable children were taken to gas chambers, he felt sorry for them, but he had no say this topic. He joined the Jungvolk when he was just 10. At 14, he joined the Nazi youth. He was thought to worship war, condemn democracy, and hate Jews. He became a doctor within 4 years of university. He joined the army to treat wounded soldiers. He became Dr. Saintels from Mr. Saintels. Every weekend he would visit his parents. One weekend, a group of officials from the orphanage visited their house, saying that a woman saw the boy's mother. They had found a few documents which had their address. When he and his guardians went in search of the address, he found out that the people who lived there were taken to gas chambers. His father was taken to the euthanasia program, as he was suffering from amnesia. That's when they got to know that he was not a desirable. His parents themselves wanted to take him to one of the concentration camps. While he was taken to the camps, he was tied with rope by them so that he doesn't escape. He managed to kill his foster parents and escaped. He was not able to understand what was going around him. He was treated differently when he was considered desirable, and quite differently when he was not. He disguised himself, changed his name, and changed his identity all. He wanted to meet his family members, or someone or the other who accepted himself the way he was. He went back to place which was mentioned by the officials. He searched everywhere, but everyone was killed, Holocaust. He felt the rage inside him. He felt really depressed. He felt as if there was no one to stand by him. His parents, who owned him at one point, disowned him for his race. He was desperately in need of medical help, but he was not able to seek help, as he needed to show identity card. If his guardian parents have informed the Gestapo, then they would have informed the locals as well. People would have got to know who he actually was. He rented a room where the undesirable families lived secretly. He started spying on the officials of the gas chambers, who were involved with mass killings. He created a character, disguised himself as a non-desirable, and raised his voice against the mass killings. When the Gestapo arrived at the place, he would quickly search for a corner and take out all the accessories he wore to address himself as non-desirable. He found a place in the forest which could not be seen until and unless you fly a chopper over it. He told the people about it. Obviously, everyone agreed, as they all were in the fear of death. They quickly gathered all the essentials and left the place. And eventually, Dr. Saintels burnt the cottage they were living in earlier. They started trying to provide their children a life with security and no fear. Dr. Saintels told everyone that we cannot put another new life in danger. No woman was allowed to give birth. Every woman's uterus were removed by him. A month passed by, they heard loud noises, and when they left to check what was wrong, they heard people talking about construction of a building. They eventually realized that it was high time they leave the place. 6 people hanged themselves, while others started packing their things to leave the place. Dr. Saintels was not well. He was barely able to take a single step. The rest of the crew cannot leave him just like that over here, neither can they take him along, as it would slow them down by time. They were so much frustrated with their life, they decided to bury him alive. They started digging the ground, but it took them long enough to dig the ground to the depth as they expected. There was no other go, they threw him alive at the river. When the others left, they lit fire to rest at night. They were killed when the officials arrived in the morning. It is not known how they died till date. 2 days later, Dr. Saintels was found half alive floating. he was rushed to the hospital as he looked like a Nordic Aryan. 7 days later, when Hay found out that he was not a pure-blooded Nordic Aryan, him along with his guardian parents and 3 siblings were arrested by the Germans in France and deported to concentration camps in Germany. His parents were killed for adopting a child without taking blood test. Before taking him to the camp, he was told to undergo a blood test once. That's when they realized that he got the Nordic Aryan features, because he was a Nordic Aryan himself. When investigated, they got to know that his father was a pure-blooded German, who had an affair with a Jew woman. Hitler often said that in my state the mother is the most important citizen. Women were always encouraged to produce many children, and honor crosses were also awarded. A kid born to a German couple did not have the features of a Nordic Aryan kid. Then the women were paraded throughout the town with shaved heads and blackened faces.